On this week's show, we visit with Winnebago and Colombia Northwest at the last RVIA Industry Trade Show. Then, we'll check out a popular toy among RVers, kayaks, and find out what we need to know before buying one. Plus, Britta takes us to Jacobsen Salt, an interesting place to visit when you find yourself traveling along the Oregon coast. All this and more on this week's Rolling On TV. Closed and Spanish captioning, where available, is sponsored by Jayco. At Jayco, we've been making family dreams come true since 1968. Let's join Jeff over at the Winnebago booth as he checks out an eye-catching Class A motorhome, along with the iconic Mini Winnie Class C. Then, it's off to the Colombia Northwest booth and find out what's new at A-Liner, and look at their all-new Colombia Northwest tent trailers.
We're at the Winnebago Industries booth, and Winnebago never fails to trot out something that's really fascinating here in the business. We're here with Scott Degnan, who is the
Vice President of Sales and Product Management.
Okay, Scott, tell us about this interesting new Tour behind us.
Yeah, well, Tour is an existing brand for our company, and what we're trying out here is a new kind of a conceptual paint job, really a new outside look. We've changed the ground effects by blacking out the wheels. This paint job has a little higher gloss content than we normally put on our Tour or Ellipse, which is our high-end diesel product. But it's got a ghosting image to it. So as the motorhome, moves around, at some points it looks black, and some points you see the graphics start to come out and pop. So it's just a different look, different buyer for this particular one.
And what about the interior? Is that pretty much like other Tour models?
Yeah, the interior is pretty standard. We're continually making improvements to our interiors, whether it's different fabric styles or different sofa styles. But this particular interior here is one that we've been enjoying for about the last 6 months. So it's a traditional interior on the coach.
The paint job on this coach is obviously striking, but you couldn't help but notice the windows are a little bit different too. Can you talk about them a bit?
Oh, sure. Yeah, the windows are very cool. They're what's called a mini frame window, and they're a little bit more glass to the window. The frame is a little bit smaller, and they're a little bit darker. So to go with the overall look, with the blacked out wheels, the really cool, paint job, kind of the ghosting effect, and these mini frame windows, it gives it a whole new look on the outside.
Well, as you hit another one out of the park, it looks like. And next we're going to go take a look at, I understand, one of your more iconic products, the Mini Winnie.
Mini Winnie, it's back. Let's go look at it.
Okay, here we are in front of the Mini Winnie, an icon in the industry. And what can you tell me about it?
Well, the Mini Winnie is back, and we're very excited about it. It's going to come in the Mini Winnie and also in the Spirit and the Itasca side of the house. And it comes in 4 floor plans. It's more of an entry-level type Class C, so it's more affordable for your average family consumer. 4 floor plans all the way down from a 25 foot up to 31 feet, and it's built on both a Ford and a Chevy chassis.
Wow, and what can you tell me a little bit about the construction features are pretty much consistent with your other Winnebago and Itasca products?
That's right. It's a Winnebago motorhome, and it's a segment of the market. It's a place that we haven't been in for quite some time, but it is built like a traditional motorhome. All the aftermarket support that Winnebago provides. It can come with high gloss fiberglass. It can come with an electric awning. We've got bunk models. We've got couples models. We've got sleepover, capabilities in the front. So it's a traditional Winnebago motorhome, but it's now built more affordably for the average family, average consumer.
So this could be, I guess you'd be accurate to call this the entry-level price point for the Winnebago line of products?
Yeah, entry-level price point. That's right. It's exactly right. Where our current Class Cs come into the market on a retail price point, this is going to be $15,000 to $20,000 under where our current Class Cs are retail price. So it's a whole segment we haven't been in for many years. We're really excited about it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Jeff catches up with Ned Collins, CEO of Colombia Northwest, the company that makes those unique A-liners and Somerset camping trailers. How would you like to win a custom personalized awning for your trailer or RV? All you have to do is enter our Fun in the Shade contest, and you could soon be sitting in the shade under your personalized awning. To enter, visit our website at rollingontv.com and click on the Fun in the Shade contest banner. What are you waiting for?
We're at the Colombia Northwest booth where company CEO Ned Collins is going to tell us about his new products. So what's new and exciting for the show?
We have a couple of new things that we're very excited about launching out to our dealers. The first on the A-liner A-frame pop-ups is we have a brand new soft-sided dormer, front and rear, as an option on almost everything we make now. And that's behind us. Really opens up the unit, creates a lot of headroom, gets some more natural light into the unit and a lot of breeze. And the bonus on it, you close it if you want to, if it's bad weather or cold, and you're back just to a traditional A-liner. No loss of headroom or functionality in the camper whatsoever. The other thing on A-liner that we've launched at this show is a Ranger 15. So this is our Ranger, which is our mid-price point product, but larger. So this is a very well-priced, well-appointed, large unit, comfortably sleep a family of 4.
Okay, and the new dormers that open up, do they open up some new floor plan opportunities? I mean, I noticed an enclosed bath in this one.
You're correct. So actually we have a brand new enclosed bath, solid walls with a solid door that folds down to basically nothing for the travel position, and that's available with or without the dormers. So that unit can be put onto any of our larger models.
Okay, thanks. And next we're going to be taking a look at, you have, I understand, a brand new trailer here at the show, a completely new development for Colombia.
We do. Last year, for the first time, we had our tent camper line at the show with just 4 models on display, and this year we're back here with 7 models. So we've almost doubled our product line there.
Well, we took a look at the new A-liner, and now Ned is going to tell us all about his brand new product line.
So a year ago, we launched the Somerset tent campers, which was when FTCA, which was the Coleman Camper Company, went out of business. We hired their people and bought the floor plans and the naming rights and the intellectual property, and we relaunched that type of product last year at Louisville. So this is our second year here, and we have basically doubled our product line from that year to this year, and are looking to expand both the retail and the wholesale side of things for us. We have a couple of new products we're really excited about on the Somerset. The first is we've expanded our Evolution campers by 2. So we have a smaller model, a 10-foot, it's going to be called the E1. And then we also have a big 12-foot with a front storage pod that's the E2 XTS. We're looking for both of those to be great sellers for us this upcoming year.
Now, what is it that sets the Evolution series apart from the rest of the trailers?
Good question. So our Evolutions are basically designed for off-road camping and dry camping. So they come with a higher lift axle, bigger aggressive tires, and then LED lighting so you can go off-grid for a long period of time, and a much larger water tank. And then in addition to that, it's got a little bit more aggressive looking exterior package, black with a lot of diamond plate.
It's a very attractive looking product.
RVers are always looking for toys to enhance their RV fun, and kayaks are at the top of the list. Let's join Steve Gibons at Scapoose Bay Kayak and find out what we need to know before buying that first kayak.
Kayaking is a great sport for RVers, and if you're thinking about getting into the kayaking, RVing program, here's some things to think about. The very first thing that you're going to want to do with any kayak is you're going to want to talk to somebody intelligently about what is the right kayak for your application. It isn't always about the price as much as it is the size of the boat and what you're going to do with it. The worst thing you can do is buy a boat for $300 because it's a good price and then find out you don't fit in it or it doesn't work your application. The important thing that you want to look at is how the boats are made and also what the weight is, because the weight varies on what the material is. When you look at boats like these, very well-made boats, but they're made by what they call a polyethylene. So to keep their structural integrity, they have to be thick, and thickness means weight. When you go to other boats that look like this, they may also be made out of a plastic, but the design of the plastic makes them lightweight. As we get older in our years in RVing, we want to find kayaks that are going to be able for us to carry anymore. I'm not as capable of carrying 80 pounds as I am now of carrying only 40 pounds. And so when you look at a boat, you want to look at not only the weight, how you're going to carry that boat. Is it going to go on the roof of your truck? Is it going to go on your RV? And that will also determine just how high you have to lift it or how you're going to haul it around itself. There are tandem kayaks, so that if 2 people want to get in one, they do make recreational, what we call a large cockpit tandem. And then they also make single kayaks. Sometimes a single kayak can have a small, what we call a keyhole cockpit, or they can have a larger cockpit. So depending upon your own agility, whether you want to be able to have something that's easy for you to get into or whether you want to have more of a racer type of a boat, these are all things to consider when you're talking to people about kayaks. One of the other things that you might consider is whether you want to sit into a kayak or whether you would like to sit on top of a kayak. These are literally known as sit-on tops. This particular style is made by a company called Hobie, and why it's been so successful is that a unit like this will drop into it and you actually can pedal it with your feet and then just steer with your hands. So it makes it very convenient for some of us. Rather than having a paddle, you can also pedal it and steer. Whether you're going to go with a sit on top, a sit in, a recreational, large cockpit, small cockpit, each one depends on different types of pricing. Least expensive boats will start somewhere in the neighborhood of around $300 to $400, and then they work their way up. The price change is varied by the quality of the boat, the size of the boat, and also the materials that they use. And it's very important that you determine first how often you think you're going to use it. You might not necessarily want to run out and buy a $2,000 kayak if you're going to use it twice a summer. Sometimes it's a lot easier to buy something that's less expensive that still fits, and then that will be your kayak. And if you like the sport, what you might end up doing is handing it on down to the grandkids, and then you'll bump yourself back up into something a little bit maybe more lightweight, a little bit more expensive, but a little bit more practical and usable for what you're now taking yourself up into. The other thing that you have to consider is that that kayak will go nowhere without a paddle, and paddles vary as well. Paddles are really priced by weight as well as construction material. A paddle like this will cost you about $80 or $90, but it's going to weigh about 36 ounces. And although 36 ounces does not sound like a lot of weight, you can also buy paddles like this that weigh 24 ounces, but they'll also go up into the $200 range. One thing to consider when you're paddling a kayak is that this paddle is going to be in your hand every single second that you paddle, and weight will build up as you use it. So consider that as you pick your paddle. Another thing that is a requirement by law is that you must have an onboard life jacket. Good kayakers never take their life jacket off. They wear it all the time. But the law does say that you only have to have it on your boat. They're designed to be large armholes. They're going to also have soft straps. They're going to be short so that when you sit in a boat, it doesn't come up and ride up on your face and give you what we call Winston Churchill looks. They range anywhere from $70 to hundreds of dollars, depending upon the sophistication of the jacket. But all jackets have to be Coast Guard approved and must provide and show a flotation characteristic that has to make it proper, what they call a Type 3. There's also children's life jackets for some of the grandkids or your own kids that will need to have a life jacket as well. So it's a kayak, a paddle, a life jacket, and an audible whistle that is Coast Guard approved. Not just one of your little 10-cent pea whistles. It has to be a Coast Guard approved, audible rated whistle. So those 4 items, kayak, paddle, life jacket, and whistle, are the requirements for kayaking. So once you've decided that you want to be an RVer and kayak at the same time, you can determine, first of all, again, the size of the boat that's going to be for your application. And then you get the opportunity of picking either sit-on tops, sit-ins, thin, lightweight thermoform boats, a little bit heavier rotor mold boats, a good paddle, a life jacket, a whistle, and then go out into the thousands of places anywhere near the area that you might be that are great for kayaking. And again, always remember, safety first on anything that you do. Survey the water that you're going to get into to make sure that you understand what you're going to be paddling in. Let people know that you're out there. Regular safety tips as well for kayaking so that you can have a safe, great experience of RVing and kayaking across the country.
Would you like to win a custom personalized awning for your trailer or RV? All you have to do is enter our Fun in the Shade contest, and you could soon be sitting in the shade under your personalized awning. To enter, visit our website at rollinontv.com and click on the Fun in the Shade contest banner. What are you waiting for? This week we joined Britta along the Oregon coast to visit Jacobsen Salt. You got it, they make gourmet sea salt, and it's well worth the visit next time you're traveling in the area.
Hi, I'm Britta with TrailerChix, and today we are at Netarts Bay with my friend Ben Jacobsen, creator, harvester of the first Oregon sea salt since Lewis and Clark.
Yes, ma'am.
the explorers back in the late 1800s. Today we're going to find out how he harvests sea salt, what he does with it, what he's creating, why he's doing it. How did you start harvesting sea salt?
I started harvesting salt just really for fun as a hobby, much as a lot of people in Portland or elsewhere brew beer as a hobby or make wine. I wanted to try and figure out how to make great salt because it was really, really easy to make bad salt. And it was being done in places like the UK with obviously very similar climate to Oregon.
Right.
And so I thought it must not be a function of temperature or humidity, but it must just be a function of process. So that's what kind of got me more and more curious.
Did you do it trial and error, or how did it come about? Are you a science guy, or?
I'm not nearly smart enough to be a science guy. It was literally trial and error, dozens and dozens of batches before I figured out how to make good salt. And once I figured out how to make good salt, I tested more than 25 spots along the Oregon and Washington coast. Now I want to make sure we have the best raw material that I can find. So this is Netarts Bay, and this is the spit that separates us from the Pacific Ocean. Netarts Bay is the water quality, in my opinion, is some of the best on the Oregon coast. And it's that kind of raw material input that we get a great salt out of.
And isn't Netarts Bay known for being a great bay for oysters and the most pristine waters? And
yeah, we're really lucky. And it really goes back to those three main drivers of taste, texture, and color. With the bay, 85% of Netarts Bay is refreshed on a tidal basis. But then when it comes in, it's washed over the entire sandy bed of Netarts Bay, which acts like a big sand filter. By the time it reaches us, it can be quite nice.
And so the water just comes straight up to your
Water comes
facility.
straight up, and we have holding tanks that actually the oyster farm used to have, so we didn't have to purchase those, which was perfect. All the water is filtered before it comes into the room, and obviously this tank needs cleaning before we actually put water into it again. Water is boiled, and then to remove the volume and to remove a lot of the calcium and the magnesium that give a lot of salts a very bitter taste, whereas our salt has a very kind of clean, briny taste. We pour the brine into, transfer the brine into these large evaporation pans, and what happens is salt crystals form on the surface of the brine, and they become more dense than the brine that they're sitting in, and then they precipitate to the bottom of the pan. And then once a few inches of salt crystals have collected, we harvest those out of the pan with the kitchen tool, drain them, and then we dry them. We go into our dehydration room, and it's basically a large dehumidifier that's quite warm. This is salt that's in process, and it's just beautiful, flaky. It has the appearance of shaved ice almost.
Yeah, it's incredible, all the facets.
Yeah.
So after it's all dried, then you package it.
Yeah,
out
after
here.
it's all dried, we actually sort it because we have different grades of salt that are produced in the process, and then we grade it and then sort it and then package it.
Great to finally see the whole process after having known you from doing demos and things. And before I leave, I made something. I want to bring it out and we'll try it with your salt.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right.
That sounds great.
So I told you I brought something to try with your salt. And while we were on our way here in the car, we made some butter. A really easy way to make butter. Just pour heavy cream in a jar. You just shake it. It takes 20 minutes. And then you have butter. We're just pairing it with, you can put it on radishes. That's kind of a traditional way to eat radishes is with butter and sea salt, or on baguette.
That sounds perfectly simple, which is perfect.
Should we make some?
Absolutely. Just like some salt?
I would.
It's perfect. It's that you get the acid from the radish, a little bit of bitterness, and the fat from the butter, and
Then
so
the
creamy,
salt
and then the salt. It's
tops
awesome.
it all off. perfect and simple.
Delicious. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having
Yeah.
us. This was so fun.
Well, that's it for this week, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, for more information on anything you saw on the show, along with additional videos, stories, and news, visit our website at rollinontv.com. For the latest up-to-the-minute RV news, visit our media partners at rvbusiness.com. If you're into RVing or just appreciate vintage vehicles, be sure to set your GPS for the RVMH Hall of Fame in Elkhart, Indiana. This museum houses the largest collection of vintage RVs and trailers dating as far back as 1916. For more information, visit their website at rvmhhalloffame.org.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now what she do. She do this and she do that. Oh, she leave it, scratch your back. Now shake, shake. Everybody shake that cinnamon tree. Shake, shake. Everybody shake that poppin' tree. All right.
Mm-hmm.